Once one of my candidates asked me that she is actually a very boring person and she is now going for the personality test. Apart from studies, she just have one hobby, that is reading. So, will that be okay if she goes in front of the interview board? Will she be able to make a good impression? That was her doubt. So, before directly answering this question, let me remind you of UPSC's criteria of selection. To apply for civil service examination, the candidates should have a minimum age of 21. The second criteria is the candidate should be a graduate. Graduate means a 3-year BA, BSc or BCom, or a 4-year engineering, or a 5.5-year MBBS, any bachelor degree. And it need not be from a reputed university, but a person who has studied it as a correspondence course is also eligible, provided that the degree is given by a recognized university. So, that's the only criteria. UPSC is not even mentioning about the minimum marks required. Surprising, right? For any other exam, there will be a lot of criteria, and this is supposed to be the biggest exam in the exam for the government service in the country. But UPSC is not specifying even the basic minimum marks for the candidate, because they know that the kind of exams happening in the universities and schools does not exactly reflect the requirements for this kind of a job. So, the exam pattern is totally different, and they are giving a equal chance for everybody who completed the graduation. So, even about your academic achievement, they are not specific. So, obviously, they are not telling anything about you being an all-rounder. When you fill up your detailed application form for interview, there are places to mention your achievements and areas of interest, etc. But if you haven't done much on those lines, that automatically does not disqualify you. If UPSC wanted a real all-round person, they could have easily specified that. Like, you should have some achievements in sports, some achievements in arts, some academic achievements, anything they could have specified. Nobody would have made a fuss, because this is supposed to be a very prestigious kind of an examination. But UPSC is not saying that. So, whether you are just an academic person does not matter. But there is a thing which you need to be careful about. Your detailed application form will enter the room just before your actual entry. So, they will check your profile and they will have a picture about you. Like, you are a science graduate or you are an engineer, then from where you come from, which state, and whether you studied in a rural place or an urban place. These kind of things they could make out. And based on your hobbies and other kind of things, a person of this age who has done this many things, based on all these things, they will have a picture. Then, once you enter the room, there shouldn't be any contradiction between the paper and the real you. So, sometimes, even though certain people have done certain things, that impact may not be there in their behavior and the way they walk in, etc. For example, if you are part of NCC or armed forces or things like that, automatically that, the way you walk should reflect that training. If that's not there, people may, kind of getting suspicious because UPSC is not cross-checking any of your credentials. Even if you put so many achievements, they are not telling you to bring all these certificates. You just need to show your age and basic graduation certificates there. So, a person who has done certain things should behave accordingly, and that should be convincing for the other people. Even your language, if you have studied in your hometown in a vernacular medium, nobody expects you to be extra fluent in English. But if you have studied in a prestigious national level institutions, automatically your English has to have that polish. So it's not a comparison between people from two different backgrounds, but you should behave according to your profile. So the mismatch between the profile could be considered as an attempt to just impress or an attempt to lie, or even your basic integrity and honesty. Those kind of questions can arise. So a perfect match between what you are written in your profile and your actual performance, that perfect sync is what is required. So the so-called boring person who asked me this question, she performed wonderfully in the interview, got very good marks, and is an officer now. So doesn't matter whether you've been a person of so many extracurricular interests. If you are a singular kind of a person, just be that and behave naturally. You will be just fine in the personality test.